No mai, haere mai. Welcome to 3 News. Disgraced former Deputy Police Commissioner Jevon McSkimming has been sentenced to 9 months home detention after pleading guilty last month to possessing child sexual abuse and bestiality material. Judge Tim Black said as a former police officer, he would be a prime target for serious violence if he was imprisoned. The charges relate to material found on his work computer during a separate investigation into sexual misconduct. And a warning, Adam Hollingworth's report contains details of the offending.
The judge said this level of offending would normally attract a sentence of 3 years in prison, but McSkimming got credit for pleading guilty, his remorse, his rehabilitation efforts and his previous good character.
I agree home detention is appropriate. That is consistent with the principle of the least restrictive outcome. And I note, in particular, the difficulties which you would encounter serving a sentence of imprisonment given your previous role. You would be a prime target for serious violence.
Jevon McSkimming accepted he had accessed nearly 3,000 objectionable images on his work phone, often during work hours, between 2020 and 2024, and that his offending stretched back as far as 2015.
You were in a position of responsibility and trust within the community to protect its most vulnerable members, and you've breached that trust.
McSkimming's digital devices were examined as part of an ongoing examination into sexual misconduct. Many images were AI, but 280 pictures were of real children being sexually exploited, as well as bestiality. The prosecution argued McSkimming showed no real remorse.
The offending-related factors for Mr McSkimming included an entitled attitude. Mr McSkimming expressed remorse, but this appeared to centre on the impact on himself and those close to him.
The defence argued he never passed on the objectionable material he watched, but was driven by compulsive and irrational addiction.
He has never sought to excuse it, but it is explained by an addiction that simply overwhelmed him and got out of control.
McSkimming wrote a letter to the judge which gives the public an insight into his state of mind.
I regret I didn't recognise the out-of-control addiction at the time when I should have, or seek help for it much earlier than I did, not just because of the consequences to me, but because I recognise that what may at first appear to be impersonal digital content represents real suffering, exploitation and degradation of children and women, often the most vulnerable amongst us.
The judge noted McSkimming had seen a psychologist and a faith-based therapist, and that he had taken practical steps along with his wife that would make it impossible for him to access objectionable material. It was determined the offending did reach the threshold for being put on the sex offenders register, but the judge did not exercise that right. He believed McSkimming was at low risk of reoffending.